Now all you people, I want you to set those headphones down. Get up. I said get up off your chairs and sing it with me one time. One time. It don't cost nothing, but you feel real good. But here we go. It's the Humpday happy hour hangout. Yes, it's the Humpday happy hour hangout. Oh yes, let's all get used up at the director's garage.
Oh, yeah. And why not? Hey, how's everybody doing? I'm back. I'm back, bitches. Hey, how about it? Meze Elite, listening to the Meze Elite today. Was listening to them last night. Just getting some listening in, hanging out. Back from Tennessee after a week-long escapade. I'm probably going to be going back at some point relatively soon to try and lock down and secure more work, or work, period. How's everybody doing? Happy Hump Day. Hangout here at the Director's Garage Live. Yeah, I've been out of the saddle a little bit and out of town, and brought nothing but IEMs with me on the road because I just thought, the hell with it, you know. Just like I'm not going to bring a big set of headphones. I just brought my Bluetooth and a wired pair of K10Ls from Noble that I've had for a long time. It was handmade by Mr. John Moulton, Dr. John Moulton. Oh yeah, that's the way we do it. It was so great. So it was a good trip, but I wound up driving. I drove. I drove through Knoxville. I hit every television station in Knoxville. I drove down to Chattanooga, hit every television station down in Chattanooga, and I got out of it. I got a couple of interviews, but no solid offers. And one of the interviews I had was supposed to be yesterday after meeting with folks, and sadly, I got ghosted. Who ghosts somebody for an interview? It was awful. Talk about rejection, man. Oh, that was Monday though. That was Monday, not yesterday. It was Monday. Oh, what a amazing journey this has been. For me. Very humbling, folks. Very humbling. So I'm back in town. There has been no news in the headphone front. There's nothing really new happening. So this is going to rely a lot on you guys writing your questions down or writing your comments, and we'll go through them, talk about them. If you have any photos to send in, nobody sent me photos last week, over the last 2 weeks. So if you have any, send them to directorsgarage@gmail.com, directorsgarage@gmail.com. And I'll get those into the show. We're looking for some viewer systems. Anything you got, any cool pair of headphones, just take a picture of it on your phone here and do it up. That's what we do. And I'll take a look at it. I was trying to see if I'm looking okay today. I can't quite tell what we're... And YouTube is doing that funny thing in the app where it won't show me my own channel. It's awful. Oh, just awful. So whatever. I guess we're just going to fly blind, and I'll rely on you guys. If something looks wrong, well, I did my best. What can I say? Don't have anything to unbox today. I did get the next episode started. It's shot, and I have started laying it out. So we've advanced the ball a bit here. We're close to probably next week. I'm guessing you'll have a new episode, which is going to focus on E-Stat speakers, phones, headphones, ear speaker phones, whatever you want to call them. It's the drugs, guys. It's the drugs. I brought back some really good stuff from Tennessee. I think I've been bringing back bourbon or something. Too fun. So What are you guys listening to? What do you guys have that's new in your lives that you're excited about? What's going on? Get to all this stuff, just drop it into the chat. We'll run through it. I don't have, I don't even have, I guess I have some photos from Tennessee, but it's not very exciting. It's like I was like out skiing or surfing in Tennessee, surf Tennessee. Yeah, not too much happened there. It was just me driving around and pressing flesh and trying to meet folks. And it worked. I did look at some houses while we were there too. It's looking very likely that that's really going to be what's going to happen here. We're going to probably sell the domestic homicide, what was I going to say? Hovel? The domestic hovel that is the current home of the director's garage, and we're going to pack up our crap and head across the country because I just think it makes financial sense, and but the market out here every single day right now, the market. We get a new article in the press, in the local trade papers, which are like Hollywood Reporter, Variety, all those things that any of us who are interested in the business follow. We get a new round of like negative news, like production is off 63% in the studio. There's 63% vacancy in Hollywood studios right now. It's the lowest it's been since before the pandemic. It's almost unprecedented. And production this year in particular is down another 24% because of the fires and everything that did. But the true reality is that the production just isn't here right now. Production's being done elsewhere in the country. It's being done abroad. Romania is huge right now. It's the biggest place where everybody's shooting. Ireland, very big, and Vancouver, Canada. So they're exporting a lot of that stuff. And it used to be that they'd go out and they would shoot the projects on location, say overseas, and then they'd bring all the footage back here to cut together and edit. That's not even the case anymore. That's being outsourced all over the world now because I can now sit in... I don't care. Alaska, as long as I've got a strong internet connection, I can edit something that's being done in Hollywood right now. That's just the way it is. You can now log in and remotely edit anything. And that's an exciting trend, but it's also a little scary. AI has definitely been a major factor. We had a big writer's strike about a year ago that our AI was everybody's worried about AI. Everybody's worried about AI. And then half the people were like, no, don't worry about it. It's you still need that human touch. And guess what, folks? You don't. Nobody cares. If you can do it cheaper and I don't have to pay you your pension and your pay into your retirement, give you health care. If this AI bot will give me a script that's just as good or 90% as good, that's good enough. And that's the reality. And it's going to happen that way in the editing part too. You're going to be able to put your footage in somewhere and say, make me a movie, and it will sort through everything and it will spit out. The creative human input is just going. It's just going. So, so that's kind of what's happening. And that's why, things like local news are still places you can get employment, but local news doesn't have the money that they once had. So a lot of stuff has just changed. But that's going to be my challenge going forward. It's how to get all of this moved somewhere else, find a place for it, find a destination, and then we'll set everything up and do it all again because I'm that stupid. I've gotten out, and no, I'm going to do more Director's Garage. Was listening to these headphones this week too. This is the LCD-4 OG. Really like some dust on them because they've been sitting around a little bit. I've been checking these out this week. I had some interesting music. I kind of went back into Green Day, and I was listening to a lot of Green Day because Green Day was at the Coachella Music Festival last weekend, and I watched their set. It was online, and not going to go sit in and a big, huge audience with a bunch of tripped out on ecstasy kids, you know, who have something to prove. I watched it online though, and I thought it was a really strong set. So much better than their Fire Aid concert. They just sounded terrific, and they did a lot of American Idiot, which is my favorite album of theirs, and then that was terrific. And then I also watched the Lady Gaga performance on Friday night, and if she's not the best artist of our time, I don't know who is. And on a pure artistic level, here's a woman who kind of, you know, had huge hits in the late 2000s into the early teens, and then just kind of took off and took some time off and started doing some stuff with Tony Bennett and did some classics and kind of showed her range that she could do some of these crazy things, and then decided I'm going to come back and I'm going to do an album of all fresh material for 2025. 12 years removed from really her last big push in the pop world. And wouldn't you know it, she comes out with just a going for it pop. I don't know if it's the best music I've heard. I don't know if it's the best music I've heard from her, but it's aggressive and it's challenging. And she pulled no punches. She said, no, I'm a pop artist still, and I'm going to remind you that I can be a pop artist. And then when you see the performances of this music, it's really next level stuff. She's really playing, she plays in that sort of German sensibility, avant-garde, a little bit industrial space that was so huge in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. There's a big techno movement, and there was a lot of Bauhaus influence on this stuff. It's really amazing crap and just amazing artistry. So it's all very angular, and the dancing that she infuses into her performances is all very it's very dark in a fun way, but it's dark. It's like it's calling up like possessive feelings and contortions and contorted faces and angular dancing, and but it's all in time, and it's all in they're all together. The dancers are tight, and they're doing these awkward, unusual moves all at the same time, which, you know, obviously it's planned. This is intentional. It's designed to get to evoke an emotion from you. It's designed to make you feel something. And she is so accomplished at that. I was so hypnotized by, I watched her she came on at 11 o'clock at night on Friday night and did a 90-minute set. And the coolest thing about it was, as I learned after the fact, is that the whole thing was bespoke. The whole performance was just for Coachella. She'll do it again next weekend because Coachella goes same exact lineup over 2 weekends. They do it once and then they do it again for more people. And it was bespoke. She created this huge opera house set, and she even says at one point during the concert, I brought the opera to the desert. I brought the opera house to the desert for you guys. And designed all of this stuff. And now some of the moves, I'm sure, go with certain songs, and it's stuff she's been doing in the videos and stuff she does on stage too. But it's choreographed differently because you've got a different set of space to play with. You've got much more space at Coachella. It's bigger than, there's 150,000 people there for the concert, for the main stage concert. So it's this enormous area, the outdoor area, and she uses all of that space in a way that she wouldn't be able to do in, say, an arena where her tours are going to be. You're much more shrunk down. So very interesting. I was really taken by it. I thought Gaga did an amazing set. She still worked in her pop songs that, you know, everybody knows her for, but she highlighted the new music adequately and gave us interpretations and visuals to go along with that were just a riot, just absolutely visionary and different. And when you look at great Coachella performances, I think this is going to go down as one of the best I've seen. This is all on YouTube, by the way. You can go check. Not now. Wait till we get off the air, guys. But all of this stuff is available on YouTube. You can go back and check those performances, and it's really something to see. Green Day, yeah, those are my two favorites, I think, of the weekend. And then, what was it, Saturday night, I watched a bit of the Travis Scott thing, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm watching, man. The entire performance. This is a 90-minute performance, and he's 20 minutes late getting on stage at 11. And he gets on stage, and it's an hour and a half of auto-tune. Every single vocal he did was auto-tuned. I was just like mind blown, like, and people are going nuts for this thing, and I'm going, what is happening? What is happening? For auto-tune, like a guy who's singing over beats and auto-tune, he had some interesting things going on. He had a marching band there, which was kind of filling in doing some interesting things, but they didn't highlight it. And the whole performance was just him. It's just him mostly on this center platform disc that spun. It spun around, and it would lift up and down, and it had light show, big light show, lots of fire, lots of flames. But my God, I was like, it was such a crazy, like, I don't know what I'm watching kind of thing, you know, but I'm sure the kids love it. It's just me being old. But it's fascinating. And then the other thing I love doing that I've been doing lately is I watch on YouTube. I go to these people who are listening to an album that I've is core to me, and they're listening for the very first time. That's the story. I don't know if I believe it, because I find it hard to believe that a music producer, somebody who has been producing music. Now he admitted this one guy I was watching. He produces music for theater, like musical theater. So I guess he's out of the main genres, but I can't believe you've gone through your entire life and haven't heard the song Comfortably Numb, or haven't heard the song, I don't know, Time or Money, or, you know, there's some Pink Floyd he was listening to, and then he did another one that I was just like you've really never heard of this before. And it's like Eagles stuff. Never heard the Eagles before. Really? And you're a music producer. And there's another album he did that I was listening to. I was just like, how do you not know this? This is so common. This is like, you know, just by chance. It gets used in commercials. It gets used in movies and TV. And so I don't know if maybe he's just, like trying to make a video that will get seen, and that's a vehicle for him to pretend that he hasn't heard it before. But I'm just like, Queen. He hadn't heard Bohemian Rhapsody. So he's listening to Bohemian Rhapsody for the first time, and I'm like, you've never heard this before? I mean, I would bet Neil has heard, who's like, our kind of Neil who loves classical, has at least heard Bohemian Rhapsody before. He knows the song. Maybe isn't a fan of it. You don't have to be a fan of it, but you've never heard Bohemian Rhapsody before. That was really stunning. So I watch that stuff because it's like, I just want to, there was another, listen to the entire album of Rumors. He'd never heard Rumors before. This is the same guy, music producer, called himself a millennial music producer, and he's never heard the album Rumors by Fleetwood Mac. And I'm like, and then through the entire album, he kept calling Christine McVie a he. And I'm like, you can't tell that that's a female? What kind of music producer are you? You don't know that that's a woman. Crazy stuff. All right, let's get into some chat. Put your comments in the chat about any of these topics. If there's anything you want to talk about, anything you want to hit up or discuss, we can happily talk about any of this stuff and get on with it. Neil Snyder says, sadly, the funeral for Neil is next Tuesday. Oh, I'm sorry you didn't make it for your own funeral. Better luck next time, Neil. Cheeky Fest is here in the house. Sorry, guys, I missed you last week. I was gone. I was in Tennessee and looking for work and spending time with the family, which is always good. On time for the first time in ages, binary feedback. Well, cheers, brother. Thanks for showing up. It's a lot of fun. Thumbs up, peeps. We got the Elites out. Yes, definitely. I really like these. These are headphones I think that still hold their own in today's market. They're a couple years old now. They've been around for a minute. And, you know, there have been a lot of revs to there's a Empyrean Mark II or whatever, Empyrean 2. But the Elites, I think these are fantastic. They're in the, they're like the original Empyrean, but with more control and more detail. So the original Empyrean was a little more on the boomy side on the bass. They could really go down there, and that's fun, but you'd like a little more control of that bass. And I thought that the Elites did that. To perfection, and I didn't care as much for the sonic signature of the new Empyrean. So I'm hoping that this Elite, whenever they do an Elite 2, if they do an Elite 2, I assume they will at some point. They're kind of like if you were timing the market, as it were. Nobody should time the market these days, but if you were timing the market, these would be up for the next revision in the Empyrean lineup. Because they've done the Lyric 2, they've done the Empyrean 2, the Elite 2 would be the next one. Should be the next one. So sell yours while you can. Get the most for them. These I have the angled pads on them. This was something that came out later on. Maybe you can kind of see it, but this came out later on in the run. They introduced these angled pads, which have a little less padding on the front of them and a little meatier on the back, and it's supposed to improve imaging a bit and do a couple other little things. But I bought them. I kind of like them. I still really like a lambskin pad myself. I think they're really nice and they feel good against the ear. But I've been rolling with those for a while now because they sound pretty good. I kind of like them. Cheeky Fest says he saw a freshly posted 109 Pro review a day or two ago. Wow, somebody behind the curve. That's been around a minute. But yeah, still viable headphones. I got no problem with anybody reviewing something that's old. Look, I did the A6, and it's like there's an A6 V2 now, but it still doesn't make the A6 any less relevant or less impressive at $750. That thing, man, that thing's incredible. What's the longest period after a release that a product has been reviewed? Well, I'm probably as guilty of that as anybody. I mean, I've jumped in really late in the game. I did the Abyss like 2 years ago. Well, that's a 10-year-old headphone. So I'm like, I guess, you know, I'm probably guilty. It's probably me. LCD S20 sounds interesting. Yeah, that's a new, there is a new headphone, and it's from Audeze, makers of the LCD-4 here, the OG, which is plugged in. You can tell I've been using it. But what they did was they included, they've got this new technology that it's technology. I don't know, it's just a new thing that they're adding to their headphones. Much in the way that HiFiman is going the unveiled route, much to my chagrin, the Audeze is going the slam route. And what they're doing is they're putting between the ear pad and the housing, this is beautiful headphone, by the way, just beautiful. They're inserting a piece of metal, like just about that thin, you know, they got some thickness to it, but it's like, you see that? 3D. Too bad my focus, I don't have autofocus on this camera. But a little piece of metal like this, between the pad and the housing, and then they're cutting a groove into that to the inside of the cup. So you've got a vent. Normally you're going for a seal on your headphones. You want a nice seal, and there's nothing playing on these, they're dead. Normally you want a nice seal on your headphone around your ears. This breaks the seal, and I don't know if you've ever been sitting there late at night and you're just playing around with your headphones, people, get out of the gutter. You pull your headphone out a little bit, you'll notice the bass just creeps up. Like you can feel like an impactful bass, much like the Abyss does at the 1266 TC, as it were. And that they're playing with that phenomenon. That's really what they're going for. They're venting, so they're going to get a little more bass response out of the headphones they're using it. So yeah, there's a new one. I don't know if there's anything out on it yet. I didn't see. I just heard reference of it. I didn't see any. And we knew from Audeze, from the factory tour that we did, trying to get a hangover hangout for Saturday. Boy, I just my squirrel. Trying to get a hangover hangout together for Saturday. But I don't have a guest yet. I'm working on someone. But okay, here's the S20. I got it on the laptop, on the old laptop of death. So let's go to the laptop of death, and we can check this out. So this is the LCD S20, and so it's a closed back, but they've got, see this gap here, right here. This is the slam, what they're calling the slam plate. Whoops, that's going backwards. No, I don't want to join. Come on, fellas. All right, let's see if we can get some info on this. Anything? Here we go. Okay, superior sound quality, noise isolation. I know these are kind of a reference studio. They think they're kind of positioning these as a less expensive M500 series, which was being designed. It was like $1,500 headphone. They've now got this $500 headphone, which I think actually it reminds me. I think of this, I start thinking of those Neumanns, the NDH-20. That's sort of what this is. But the SLAM technology, it's supposed to prevent, you're supposed to be able to use these in the studio. But I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking you're venting stuff to the outside world. You're going to get some bleed out. I don't know. But they're doing something with it. But it looks interesting enough. And they're game changer. It's a game changer, boys. How is everything a game changer? Do you ever notice, like, why is everything a game changer? It's a game changer. Is it really? I don't know. All right. I won't play the video because it's going to give me audio problems. But here you go. Here's a breakdown of this thing. Actually looks very HiFiman-like in construction, doesn't it? With the horizontal grills. Interesting stuff. But it's a closed back. It's a closed back design. So they don't say they're using metamaterial, but this looks like something like is metamaterial-esque. And then they've got this slam plate, which vents to the outside world right here through this tuning ring. So the excess, vibration or whatever goes out through there and vents to the outside world. And it gives you a little more bass, a little more hard-hitting bass. That's what that will do. And is this a magnetic cup? Yes. Look at this. Magnetically attached ear pads. Oh, finally, Audeze in the game on the magnets. That's so great. That's something they should have done a long time ago. I'm really excited about that. That's fun. Your private listening space. This is all this stuff. Get a couple of cables with it. It's single-sided, so you're getting both. There's a wire running between the cups because you're not getting a wire out of each ear cup. So this is very much like the NDH-20 to me, from my perspective. It's got more slam acoustic management, phase management by phaser. Those are the phaser magnetics, so the stuff that they've been touting for a few years over at Audeze. Flexor magnetic array, planar magnetic. Anything else here worth noting? I'm assuming they're efficient if they're going to run off of a headphone, off of a console. You don't want to have something that's too hard to drive. 93 decibels, 18 ohms. Oh yeah, it's really efficient. 18 ohms. Very efficient headphone. 90 millimeter transducer size. Goodness. How big are these cups? Oh, they look pretty big, I guess, on his head. Of course, it looks like a female Justin Bieber. But, yeah, they're pretty big. They're pretty big. I wonder how heavy they are. Are they heavy? Audeze been known to 550 grams. Wow, that's heavy. These things are monsters. That's notable. Goodness. That's as heavy as the LCD-4. Whew, a lot of weight. Very interesting, though. Very interesting. So I guess that's new. I guess I lied. There is something new this week we can talk about. Wow. Nice looking headphone, though. I will say, Audeze does not, rarely disappoints in the looks department. I always like their stuff. Very good. Very sleek looking headphone. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. So that gave us something to look at. Wow. I should change the title of the show to "We First Look at the Audeze Online." Don't you hate that when somebody's like, we're going to take an in-depth, we're going to take an in-depth look at the new iPhone. And you're like, oh, they got the new iPhone. You tune in, it's like they're showing product photos from the launch. Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks. Ear speakers, those raw ones. Yeah. Cheeky Fest 2 happened last Thursday. Some lessons learned for CF3. But you still haven't defined what Cheeky Fest is. Cheeky Fest says, why do you get YouTube ads during your live streams? I guess I got to pay the bills somehow. Sorry about that, but I don't know, and I'm not well versed enough to know the hows and whys of anything that YouTube does, but I do this for free, so a 30-second commercial or whatever. So 4 seconds and you can skip it. I don't think it's the end of the world. It's not too much to ask for all this hours of free entertainment, boys. Such as it is. Hipster Cow, Sajan in the house. Howdy, gents. Good to see you. Cheers. Miles Davis. Vigo Blue and Green Day. I'm not sure what that... Miles Davis versus Green Day? Blue and Green Day. Oh, I get it. Kind of blue and Green Day. Gaga greater than Taylor Swift? I think there's an argument for that, but... Taylor Swift more popular than Gaga. There's a stronger argument for that. And Taylor Swift more wealthy than Lady Gaga. There's definitely a case for that. It's all good. I think I prefer Lady Gaga to Taylor Swift. I think I can say that. It's but she's also older, and she's 39, so, and Taylor's still pushing 30, so we're kind of different genres. She's a little closer to my age group, as it were. So maybe I just think that Gaga has done what Madonna failed to do. Madonna failed to really make the turn into middle age. I think she stumbled. I think she's kind of searched around a bit, and she's all but disappeared, really. I mean, she's last tour got canceled, and there's not a lot. I just don't know. But Gaga has found a way to stay relevant and is actually doing like chartable music this late. And I guess Madonna had a couple of later hits in her career, but I think that her, I think that her best music is behind her. I think that's probably safe to say. I was never a huge fan of Madonna anyway, but I did like a Prayer. I thought that some of that stuff was more edgy and daring, and wasn't as big a fan of Justify My Love when she did the rolling around on the ground. That video was just awful. She's trying to shock the world, and she's doing a lot of naked stuff. She did a book of nudes, I think. It was silly. Cheeky Fest says he knows the name Travis Scott, but couldn't tell you any of his music. Well, I'm not familiar either. I mean, in fairness, I don't know. It's not somebody that I would exactly look up. But if you like techno and you like EDM and you like rap, I guess that kind of crosses those genres. But it just didn't. I can appreciate. There are rap musicians that I can appreciate. Eminem, Dr. Dre, but I don't understand the auto-tune of it all. Like, why can't you just have a good, is your voice that bad that you have to auto-tune? Are you that pitchy that you need to auto-tune? Or are you just going for that sound effect because you like it and it's trendy? It's something that I think has been gone for 8 years. Like, I think as far as, if you want to be relevant, you shouldn't have auto-tune in 2025. I think that sound, that T-Pain, all that stuff is just dead. I think it's just not, it's not relevant. It just sounds old. It sounds dated. That's the biggest problem. You wonder why you can put on an album from the 70s and it sounds fresh. It sounds like it could have, come out. It's because the band's playing together and they have to play it live. And there are mistakes in the music. It's not all quantized to the beat. The drummer can be off a little bit, and that actually adds to the liveliness of the music. Makes you hear things and unexpected things in different ways. That's why live music is so interesting, and classical music is so interesting, because you can go to the same performance of the same symphony 2 nights in a row and you'll hear them differently, because you have humans playing instruments and they play things differently, even though the score is there, but it's, you get a different emotion out of it. It's different. When you have the human, getting back to AI, and when you have the human element involved in the production, I just think it makes things better. Pythagoras says, do you have any recommendations? Yeah, keep your job. Don't get into television. Anything musically that I have to recommend? What was I listening to? As I said, I kind of went back into the Green Day of it all. That was fascinating. Listening to a lot of Fratellis lately. I just love that music. Are you guys familiar with that? Fratellis they're still a band. They tour. They're touring England, though. They don't have a U.S. tour on the horizon. They haven't come to the U.S. since before the pandemic, but they're a 3-piece band, and kind of like Fake Brothers kind of vibe, but it's, they're not married to it. It's just kind of a gimmick. But they did one of my all-time favorite records. I'm going to show it to you in a second. Okay. So, they did an album called Costello Music. And I don't want to go to YouTube because it's going to, so let's see. Let's see if we can get it. There we go. The album cover. So they came out with this album in 2007, I think it was, called Costello Music, and it got picked up. One of the songs got picked up as an ad for the iPod, the new iPod. It got included, so the band kind of took off. And the album is what's interesting about the record is there's dynamic play in it. There's incredibly soft passages followed by hard-hitting passages. And this is one of the things that Green Day gets right. And I was just thinking about this. I can put together a thought here. Imagine that. But you can't just play loud. You can, physically it's possible. But to make something interesting and really engaging to the listener, you can't play loud 100% of the time. It doesn't work. You have to mix in slower, quieter passages because it makes the loud sections have more impact, has greater impact. So this album is loaded with incredibly high energy music, but it's augmented with quiet passages, often in the same song, so that the stuff that explodes really, really explodes. Musically, I think he has a lot of the Beatles' aesthetic or sensibility in his hooks. The interesting thing about John Fratelli, who writes all the music, plays guitar, is he's not afraid to double up his hooks in a song. Most Keith Richards would find one hook and get 4 songs from it, right? Notoriously saying, if I've got 2 songs, I've got an album. I need 2 good songs, and I can fill in the rest based off of those, where I'm heading with those 2 songs. This album is loaded front to back with hooks. It's a true debut masterpiece, because there's no song that takes off. It's like they don't rest at all during the record. It's like everything is new and original, and he would take something that would easily make 2 great songs, and he would pair them together and burn 2 awesome hooks in one song. Because he could. He just was that creative and clever, and they just came up with this record, and it's phenomenal. The other thing that I love about this record is that it uses a saxophone to double the bass line. And that's one of my favorite sounds in all of music. Simon and Garfunkel famously did it. Let's see if I can get a better, so we can get some, there's the music. Let me get the album cover up full. God, that's all they give me. Tiny little photo. So they double up. They don't have the song listing. Screw them. Who are they? Amazon. But they double up the bass line with the saxophone, and this is a trick that's been done. Some of my favorite music is doubles up the bass line with a bass sax. Simon and Garfunkel did it on Bridge Over Troubled Water. The Fratellis do it here. Van Morrison did it a lot. Would double up the bass line with a horn. It just gives an edging, a grit to the bass line, because you've got a reed instrument down low filling in the low notes, along with the bass, the traditional bass. So it's very interesting to me. I always love albums that do that. And then the other thing I loved about this record is that lyrically it's edgy. It talks about fights and gang fights, and it introduces us to kind of something of wicked kind of characters, it's just edgy. There's an edginess to the it reminds me of like the fights, the old mods versus rockers fights that used to happen in Great Britain in the late 60s, mid to late 60s. You had the Rolling Stones followers and the Who followers, and the Rolling Stones were the rockers, and the Who's were the Who were the mods, and the mods and the rockers would rumble. It's kind of like West Side Story. Well, there's a West Side Story element of danger to the lyrics in this, and it's really fun. It's really fun. And then there's some silly songs like Vince the Lovable Stoner. This is a record I highly recommend. It was groundbreaking in 2007. They did a follow-up album that was really good, but it's not for everyone. Like, this album is really accessible because it's got such great hooks. The next album that came out was called Be Here Now, I think. Was that? Fratelli's, let's look at disc. I think it was called Be Here Now. Discography. Here We Stand. Be Here Now is the Oasis album. Here We Stand is the one I'm thinking of. And then the band broke up because this album didn't do so well. I think it's actually, in some ways, it's a bit more interesting album than the first album, but maybe it's just because I've heard it less because the first album was so huge. But what was disappointing was that they went away from this motif that made Costello music so interesting, which was the old kind of 50s pinup girl kind of thing, and they kind of went to a circus kind of thing. Oh, mom's texting. I gotta take care of something. 2 seconds. I guess I have to text her back real quick. Sorry, fellas. Hang on a second. I'm just gonna text her back. Stream is over. Okay. Okay. So just was talking through the Fratellis. So after that they broke up, and John went his own way and started doing solo projects, and then he did an album called, I think, the Codeine Velvet Club it was called. It was a small group that he did. They got one album out, and then they broke up, and finally, like 10 years later, they finally reunited, and they did an album called We Need Medicine, which is this album here. And it was kind of done in a cartoony kind of way. And what they did was they lost all that dynamicism. The dynamics are gone on this record. Like the quiet to loud thing that I was talking about, gone. It's all very driving. And I think that was a mistake. And everything they've done since, they've had 2 more albums since, they haven't been as popular, nowhere near as popular as any of the other ones. So, but that's the Fratellis. I would tell you, if you wanted to, actually 3 other albums. They did this, Eyes Wide, Tongue Tied album, and there's still good songs on it. So it's just not. It doesn't have the level of the other stuff. Anyway, so that's my music recommendation. I'm going to recommend the Fratellis this week. If you have not heard the Fratellis, please go out and listen to them and check out that first album. It's really good. It's loaded with hooks. It's very easy to listen to, and it's sort of like a carryover of punk rock. Very much in the Green Day lane, in the Green Day tradition. 3-piece band. They know how to get loud, but they also know how to play soft, which I think is what makes them special. Good stuff. All right, let's get back into the chat. Recommendations. We did that. Happy birthday, Binary Feedback. Well, happy birthday, brother. Glad you could be here. I am Jay. Jonathan Liu says, borrowing a friend's Mod House Tungsten. I think I have changed my mind about these. I'm having a blast with them. Yes, they're really good. If you like EDM and you like rap or hip hop, anything with a lot of heavy driving bass, that's a phenomenal headphone, provided you have the amp to drive it. Jonathan does. He's got the Riviera. Riviera Labs, which is a phenomenally powerful amp. Fantastic. My Ray Samuels also drives them very well. But you need a hell of an amp to drive them well and get the most out of them. Very good. Jonathan says also his birthday's coming up on Sunday. Yep, Easter Sunday this year. The kids are going to let you go find the eggs for your prizes. Another year older. Not any wiser, though. No, not me either. Hipster Cow recently sold his carbons, realizing it wasn't worth holding onto and upgrading if he didn't want to invest in the top-of-the-line ESTAT amplifier. I don't know. I don't know how they scale. That's a real question. I'm not sure. But the Carbon 2 is getting a lot of praise, and we've heard them. They do sound. There's a magic to them. Jonathan loved them. You loved them. I loved them. I thought they're great. I'm going to try and do by the way, and fellas, these 2 fellas, Hipster Cow and IMJ, Jonathan Liu, Sajan, they're all in my Patreon. They're all Patreon members, so they come to the Hangover Hangout every Saturday. We do them once a month. And I'm still working on a guest for this week. I'm trying to get somebody, but I don't know if I'm going to get him. We'll see. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Jonathan says, nope, he's the choir director in his church, so he's doing all the Easter stuff with all the music, then just chilling. That's great, man. That's fun. That'll be fun. So fun. Well, happy birthday early, Jonathan, and Cheeky Fest 2. Re-slam. Vent is the French word for wind. Yes. Cheeky Fest is his birthday is in 3 weeks. JTB, 550 grams will be a deal breaker for some. Yeah, that's pretty heavy. Especially if you're using it in a studio environment, you're going to carry them around, bring them in with you, and you're going to spend all day with them. That's a tall ask. That's a very heavy headphone. Gadgetry Tech did a review. Looks like it's more like a classic Audeze. I said Audeze. tuning. It's the Audeze tuning here on the Director's Garage. Without the 3K forward mid peak of the MMs and 5, but a slight bass lift. Okay. Well, that sounds good. I mean, that's the only complaint I had with the 5 is that it had that kind of upper mid peak that was not in my lane. But they were great. They're really neutral sounding headphones, really generally neutral, flat to my ears. Binary feedback, that's the LCD-5 I'm talking about. They market it as a closed back for tracking. How do you, if you're tracking, when they say tracking, fellas, what they mean is you're wearing much like this setup right here, you're wearing a pair of headphones and you're listening on your headphones, and then they do a punch in and you start singing along with the music that's playing through your headphones. That's how they do this, right? So that means that they have to be extremely isolating, because you don't want the microphone, this thing right here, you don't want it picking up what's coming through the headphones, which is why an open back would never work in a studio setting for tracking. But I got to think that vent is going to vent some sound to the outside world. Very interesting. I'm wondering how they're managing that and how they get around it, how they make it work. Also checking out a tour unit of the Hi-Fi for All Dahlia. For the price, it's surprisingly quite good. Oh, that's cool. I'm not on any tours right now. I've got nothing coming in. I do have an episode planned, and it's in production. I said this at the top of the show. It'll be out next week, I think. Then we're kind of... then I'm going to have it in a holding pattern, because I've got to really start figuring out this house thing, because it does look like we're moving. Unless something breaks in LA at the last second and rescues the situation. I just don't see it happening. I just think the market is just trashed out here right now. Popularity, wealth aren't the only measure of success. Yes. That's kind of crazy that Lady Gaga's only 39. I remember listening to her in 5th grade. I know. Well, I'm 57, boys. I'm up there. I've been around a minute. I know the 70s. Cheeky Fest liked Madonna in the mid-80s, 2000s, but not much since. Yeah, I just think like in the mid-90s, she just kind of went away. She had like a second revival in the 2000s, but I don't think that it was near the fame or the quality of her original works. Just what we're talking about. The popularity, wealth aren't the only measure of. Yeah, that's we're talking about Taylor Swift. Yeah, of course not. But I'm just saying, there are things that there are reasons Taylor's as popular as she is. I don't deny that for a second. Neil Snyder just ordered the FiO FX17. Neil, you're playing in the lower priced gear for you. What's going on there, my friend? It's not the most expensive and greatest, Neil. Why are you even bothering with it? That's me being an instigator jackass. Anything with auto-tune is literally turn it off for me. It is for me too. I can't, like, and here's a theory. It may not be the theory, and it's not totally formed, but you can't get emotion when the computer is taking control of the voice. How do you get the sense of what the meaning is, or how do you draw your own? One of the best things about albums, like, I was just going back to the Rumors thing I was listening to, Fleetwood Mac Rumors. They don't tell you who the Gold Dust Woman is. They don't tell you what Secondhand News is about. You have a sense that it's about, an unhappy relationship, or it's about a witch, or it's about, whatever. But they leave it for you to figure out, and you get your information based on how they're singing what they're singing. And if somebody's screaming, I'm just secondhand news, chances are they're meaning it's not a good thing. You know what I mean? But you get emotion out of the music, and it makes you feel something. I'm just secondhand news. I'm just secondhand news. It's like, what does he mean by that? Well, it's clearly saying that he's not getting and the love of his life is not putting him first, as right, is not paying attention to him, so you wouldn't get that without the Lindsay singing his heart out. And really, I mean, if you listen, talk about an album with committed vocals, Rumors by Fleetwood Mac just has the most committed vocalists. They're everything is sung with drama. Bohemian Rhapsody, sung with drama. Imagine that auto-tuned, how much would it take away from a classic song like that? It would just destroy it, because you lose the emotion of the voices and the choruses. God, an auto-tuned choir, would that be awful? Just terrible. So I don't know. Christian Lopez, cheers, my brother. Welcome to the show. I'm not much of a hip-hop or a rap fan, but the occasional intelligent or underground artist can be amazing. Try Atmosphere, for example. Yeah, and I was a fan, the lead singer's dead now, but I was a big fan of a group called Digital Underground, which was sort of put together to mock the rap industry and mock the lyrics, the rap lyrics. And they did this fun album in the early 90s, I guess it was, called Sex Packets. And it's all crazy, dirty, stupid, but it's a joke. The whole thing is meant tongue-in-cheek. It's meant as a rip on where the rap industry was heading with the sexy and the over-the-top sexual, and they just did something that was comically sexual to make a point. Loved it. It was so clever to take something like that, and I'm not like, I don't get off on dirty, dirty lyrics and all that, so I don't really care. I mean, I'm not against it, I'm not for it. If it fits the song and I'm okay with it. Was that the Divinals did that I Touched Myself Out song back in the 80s? And as a teen, I loved it. I thought it was great, but today it's cringe to me. But, back then I thought it was a great song, And who didn't love that band? That was fun as a teenage male. But if it's clever and it's done with intent and consciousness, like I can really get into it. And then the same with even the Snoop Dogg stuff, the gangster rap stuff from the early 90s and into the 2000s. Like it's there's messages there. It's good. It's easy to listen to. It's not my necessarily thing I want to listen to every day, but something like Gin and Juice, are you kidding me? I mean, it's just such a vibe. It's such a great song, and it's well told, and you understand what's going on. You understand what's what. It's a party song, it's great. I can totally, enjoy that. But if you auto-tune that, you lose. God, I would be so disappointed if Snoop ever auto-tuned his voice. He's got a great voice for storytelling, and I'm totally down with it. I can listen to him do almost anything. I think he's a great artist. Tori Amos, new live album, Driving Deep, is really good in his opinion. Binary Feedback says they're obviously done some studio stuff with it, but it's really the best thing she's put out in years. All right, I'll check that out. I'll put Tori Amos on my little. I do a little list along with of show notes that interest me, so I'll go and check that out. That's good. Jesse Morell performed again at Cheeky Fest 2. Amazing songwriter, singer, pianist, studying uni at Oxford University. She has a YouTube where she posts her own songs and Beatles covers. Oh, cool. Jesse Morell. All right, check that out, boys. Ryan Dietz in the house, creator of that Mod House Tungsten that Jonathan has been enjoying this week. Very good. John Evans on bass is brilliant on it. That's good. Christian Lopez, not much time today for me, folks. Peace, love, and music to everyone. Cheers. Nice sentiment. Glad you could stop by, though. Costello Music is a great album. Chelsea Dagger may be one of his top 20 songs. Well, and then I add to that, yeah, the Chelsea Dagger became the goal song for the Chicago Blackhawks, which was being a Chicagoan, my team. So I was even more down with them then. So I have a little bit of sentiment to it in that way, in that regard, too. I just think that whole album is brilliant. It's one of the few originals. Unfortunately, they've just never matched its success since. That's not to say they couldn't. They're still young fellas, and they are relatively, and they have plenty of time to come up with something that's going to be groundbreaking in their second act. And look, a lot of people thought Green Day was kind of done, and out of nowhere came American Idiot, and it was their greatest album of all. One of the greatest albums of all time, and one of the greatest albums of their career. Probably the greatest. Certainly that and Dookie, and they had a couple of just unbelievably good records. Dookie's more raw, but American Idiot is just visionary. I mean, listen to Jesus of Suburbia. I mean, that 9-minute masterpiece. And they played that at the end of their Coachella set. They played the whole Jesus of Suburbia. Just phenomenal. Music recommendation this week is Me and You by Count Basie and his orchestra. He's honestly embarrassed he hadn't heard this album before. Absolutely incredible. All right, I'm going to check that out. I may have heard it before because I listened to a lot of Count Basie in my day, but I don't remember specific albums when it comes to some musicians. So I'll check it out for sure. Yep, the Riviera has gobs of power for the tungsten. That's awesome. Sending 6 volts out of the Tambaki to the Riv, and his volume pod is like at between 1030 or so. Yeah, if I do 6 volts out of the Lena into the Ray Samuels, I'm like, it's got powered. I can't make it too. I can't make it. It gets painful before I run out of dial. It's an incredibly powerful amp. Makes me wonder what that Dark Star is like. A guy contacted me because he's back in town and he wants to sell me his Dark Star, but I don't have the money right now. I've got to pay Ray for the rest of this amp, and then maybe I can consider it down the road if I have a job. But it's so unfortunate that I'm in this particular situation. I have so much I want to buy, no funds to do it with. It's the way it is, man. It's the way it is. Oh, so good. The Riv has tons of power. Yeah, that's awesome. Glad you're enjoying them. It's a hell of a setup. It is. It is. Neil says the FX 17 IEM is $1,700. Also bought an expensive CD transport. Going to dig out his CD collection. Every piece of music recorded by Lawrence Welk. Yeah, I'm over CDs. I'm like, if I'm going to go to a CD, I might as well stream it. For me, Wayne Newton's entire CD collection. Yeah, I used to have a bunch of them. I had a huge CD collection, but when I moved to Los Angeles, I didn't want to move all the CDs, so I sold them off. I ripped most of them to files. And the files are irrelevant now. There's such bad conversions now. They don't really matter. But I kept all my records. I have all my LPs. I have about 3,500 LPs here, which have all got to be sent away again. Unbelievable. But maybe we're going to be in a better place where I can build the shelving units I always wanted to build for the records. We'll be in a better space. I'm hoping for that. Hoping for better things down the road, because it's been a rough couple of years, fellas. Thank you, sir, says Jonathan. Punchy, dynamic, and the Riv imparts the same wonderful coloration for the tungsten dual-sided that also makes the OG Sesfara magical on the Riv. Great pairing. Yeah. There is something really wonderful about, the headline there, the subtext there isn't that it does what the OG Sesfara, it captures the magic of the OG Sesfara. The fact is that it's a $2,000 headphone that's doing that versus what was at that time a $6,000 Sesfara. So yeah, really impressive stuff though, with what the tungsten does. It's great. And I think the tungsten actually has a punchier bass than the Sesfara. I think the Sesfara is a more refined headphone overall. I don't think that that's saying mean things about the Mod House. I think it's a great headphone. I still use it for, like I said, I really like it with high energy music. I think it really drives it. The bass that comes out of those is really exceptional. I love the comfort of that headphone too. David Kirshner says, hey guys, late to the party. Hope everyone's doing great. Yeah, we've been talking about all sorts of stuff. Went on a rant. Talked about a lot of stuff. Talked about auto-tuning, how much we hate auto-tune. GFS, he has 500 CDs now. Yeah, I got rid of all mine. I sold them to a secondhand music shop back when CDs were still reselling. I got like, $700 for them, I think, total back then. It was just a big, huge collection. The only thing I did, there were a couple of classical CDs that they really were going to give me like $5 for, and I'm like, classical CDs back in the day were like $40, $50 for a 2 CD set of like gramophone, Deutsche Grammophon or London well-recorded records or performances. They were very, very expensive, and so I wound up keeping like I think I had like the Ring cycle, like a bunch of different like opera CDs and things like that. They just weren't gonna give me much on the resell for those, and I'm like, these things were really expensive. I'm like, I'll just keep them. But everything else, my common stuff, all sold off. B-52's Cosmic Thing, gone. Stream it now. It sounds just as good. Oh, what am I doing here? Cheeky Fest says, oh, we did that. Cheeky Fest says, I don't get to listen to them as he lives at his dad's, but he doesn't feel able to appreciate the music on his 2-channel hi-fi downstairs at all at the volume he'd want. Oh, for listening to CDs and stuff. Binary Feedback says, all the best for planting new roots, Michael. Yeah, I know. We're just going to have to get through it. You have to get through it. Okay, that's all of our chat. I'm going to go do... One thing I wanted to do today was just take a look over at HeadFi and check out their classifieds and see if there's anything interesting there. It's one of my favorite segments on this show, on the live stream to do, so we're going to do that now. I'm going to head over here. I got to yank the microphone over as far as I can get it so I can stay on mic while I'm looking at these. And so going through the HeadFi classifieds, let's see what's here. Quest Style, FiO M11 DAP. This is for Neil Snyder. No, these are nice. These are nice little units. I just really like FiO because they bring really high quality and they don't break the bank. The way, Astell&Kern, you get this from Astell&Kern, it's going to cost you a fortune. This one's pretty chewed up though. What's he want for it? $160. That's pretty steal. That's pretty much a steal. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Eddy Current. What's this? Is this an OG? Or is this current? Haha, pun intended. What's this? Selling a unique version of the legendary Eddy Current Studio B300B in very good condition. It's a one-of-a-kind amp. How much does he want for it? $5,000, 47. Whoo, look at that. I don't know that I've ever seen this amp before. This looks amazing. Got a rectifier tube there. That's going to be a 274. And then you've got a couple 300Bs. And then maybe a 6 SN7 or a... Looks like the smaller tube, though. Like the one that was in the WA6. For a power, for a driver. These are the power tubes. Wow. What an amazing looking product that is. There's a rectifier. Huh. I don't know what 300Bs he's rocking in that. I don't think those are tacks. Oh, they are tacks. They're just inverted. They're reversed. Type 63. Oh man, that's a beaut. Yeah, you have the coolest stuff. Which user is this? Ardbeg 1975. Okay. What a great amp. Wow, that was worth it. I'm glad we just came over here. We've got an Aegis for sale here for $3 grand. I don't know what these go for new, but it's not that much more than that. I think it's only a couple $100 off. Probably gonna have to drop down a bit if he wants to get that sold. It would be easier to just go to Zag and get a new one, and you're guaranteed the tubes are, you know, you get the whole warranty with it and everything. Felix Elise, Stax 009, 22. These are holding value. That's about what I paid for mine when I bought them. Boy, there is like, you talk about a deficiency and a headphone with deficiency in bass. Amazing clarity, amazing detail. Like resolution on that is off the charts, but man, there's no bass. It's just vacant. Like you get to about 500 hertz and it's like you're going to be straining to get some emotion out of it. But man, if you're listening to classical or something that doesn't need that, that's the way to go. That's the way to go. This is great stuff, man. God, I love it. I love looking at what people are selling. I don't know about you guys. I can do this for hours. I mean, just go through doom scrolling. Things I can't afford. SPL Founder XE 1450. That might be a little high for that because this doesn't have all the processing of the regular SE. That's the XE, which is they cut some of the electronics out of that, save some bucks. It's a topping amp. Grado. Sapphire 3.5, 2,800 bucks. Oh, this thing is gonna shoot. My prediction is this. My prediction is this. Sorry, I moved the headphone. I moved the thing over because my computer laptop is over here, so I can do this and talk. My prediction is this: the Sapphire is coming down in price because the Unveiled is out. There will come a point at which they'll hit, 2,500, 2,300. And then I think they're going to start going back up in price. Because I think people are going to realize that have a renewed appreciation for how great that headphone is. And in some sense, the same way the 1266 has maintained itself over all these years, a good product is a good product, and that is one of the best. And I think that this headphone someday, this headphone is going to be an absolute. You'll be hard pressed. People are going to be trying to get this model, I think, someday. For what it was, because they're not going to make them. If they haven't stopped already, you'll only be able to get the Unveiled model, and then whatever comes after it. That is an iconic headphone, and that will be an iconic headphone for many, many years to come. My prediction. So I think they're going to come down quite a bit further and hit bottom. And I think that if you're an astute buyer, you'd go for that headphone because it's a bargain. Here's an Unveiled, but it's HE-1000 Unveiled. $19.95. Is that a good price? Aren't they like 20? Can't you get them for like 25? It's like, that's not a really good discount. I guess it's current model, whatever. Poet. $16.59. Oh, you're going to be... The sweet spot on this is going to be the sweet spot that I bought the Elite at. These are going to be $1,000. When these things hit $1,000, that's the buy-in, I think. I don't think you buy in before then. Personally. My opinion. Final D8000, 3,000 euros. $1,000 off, that's a good price. Got to be in Europe, though. Forget that. Trade my Stax 007 Mark I. Are you crazy? What are you going to trade it for? What does he want? What does he want in trade for a 007 Mark I? Does he say what he's looking for? Oh, looking for an ES Labs ES2A. Can be traded for a Mark 1 or ES1A. Okay. I don't know the ES, so that's an electrostatic amp. That's my camera system. Probably misdirector pulling in to the drive. See if they clear hard show. Okay, that's just a case. TMF book closed. 950. It's a custom pair. I can see that. It's about a $1,300 headphone new. Pardon me. Do a couple more. And we'll call it. See if there's any comments on any of this stuff. I just love doing this. I just think it's really cool. This atrium closed. I have not heard the atrium closed. But what a pair this is. Look at the color on these. This is stabilized. This is called stabilized wood. He does like a dyeing process to it. Just phenomenal. Look at the beautiful. Look at the color match. Look at the color match there and there. Oh, man. I would buy this in a second. It's a headphone that I'm interested in. It's a headphone I want to hear. But it's a little too pricey. It's got to come down a bit on that. It's got to be closer to 25, 24. In my opinion. Unique Melody Multiverse. This is a $4,000 IEM. Maybe it's 38. I've heard these. They're phenomenal. They're great IEMs. That's one of the best Hi-Fi products ever. Phenomenal IEMs. It's just shocking the fidelity you get out of them. Good old HD-600 for 180 bucks. How can you go wrong? That's the entry into hi-fi, I think. That's like the entry point to get into that. Kennerton Jollerhorn. These are great headphones. These are like 1,500 bucks. They're not going to resell. The resale on this is just terrible. Audeze LCD-4 for $17.99. Is there something wrong with them? Downsizing his setup. Who's this? Abyss 2022. Outstanding condition. Ebony wood still gleaming beautifully in the photos. Headphones work perfectly. Oh, that's pounds though, so it'd be a great bid in price. So that's going to be more. It's going to be like $2,000 US dollar. That's going to be like 22, 23. Okay, I just saw that and I was like, oh, look at the polish on that. Mine don't polish up that well. I should send these back to Audeze and have them do a number on them. Have them do a refresh. I love these headphones. So good. Okay, so they didn't slip down. I thought that was a deal, but then I'm like, oh, it's Great Britain. The pound trades for less than the dollar. Great stuff. Electric, nice. Gestard H16, nice cheap amp. Get some quality there. Shit Milgard. Look at this amp. What's this amp? Breeze Audio Class A tube amp. He's the second owner, been impressed with this Class A design. I've never heard of this. Am I missing something, fellas? Oh, I think I've seen this before. I just didn't make the connection to the manufacturer. Look at that hunk of metal. Oh, yeah. Yes, please. Ah, look at that in the rack. Sold. Okay, you win. I'm in. Oh, yeah. That is gorgeous. Okay. That might be a great place to leave it. That is beautiful. What a beautiful amp that is. Breeze Audio. I'm going to look that up. Put that in the show notes, man. Stuff to look up. That's fantastic. Oh, the Aurelius. This is a quirky device. Have you guys ever seen this? So what somebody did, this is a Hi-Fi product. What somebody did was they wanted to mimic a cassette player. It's got a case on it, but this is what the unit looks like. So they put these buttons, these big old-fashioned heavy press buttons for fast forward, rewind, play, and pause. And then they put a dual volume gain slider like the old Walkman used to have. And then they put this little lid here that covers up a screen. It's not a touch screen. It's just a display screen. When you close this, it looks like a cassette rolling around. It's a gimmick. Here's a picture of it in action. But it's a digital player. It's silly, it's frivolous, and by all accounts, this thing doesn't sound very good. Like the DAC chip, and it's not that good. But it's one of those products that I've always wanted. But this guy's asking $1,500 for this thing, and it should be about $500 used. That's amazing. Because you used to get them on drop. They'd come up on drop. They'd show up in a couple of places. They weren't that expensive. That's amazing. There's a good deal on WA33. This is going to be a signature series, but it is beautiful. It's a nice price. Very good. Very good. All right, fellas. Let's go through the rest of the chat. That was fun. I gotta love doing that. That is so fun. It's one of my favorite things to do. I just love going through the classifieds over there on Headfire. Let's get this thing straightened out. Back to one, boys. Back to one. That's a fun thing to do. That's a fun thing to do. I love looking at all that stuff. Okay, we got a couple more. Gil Renard. First of all, Jill, nice to see you. Close Up in Swing. Got into Close Up in Swing Aaron Garner album with a couple of weeks ago. The Best Things in Life Are Free. That's good. His other recommendation is The Trio by Oscar Peterson. Well, Oscar Peterson's amazing. There's almost nothing by Oscar Peterson. It's like saying Thelonious Monk. Just pull out a Thelonious Monk album. You're gonna hear something special. Before you leave SoCal, we should have another meetup. Yes, we'll figure that out. Agreed with Hipster Cow. Another meetup would be grand before you leave SoCal. Yeah, I'll bring all my toys. We can have some fun. It's a pretty good price in the UK for the 4. Yeah, that's not too bad. But it's like, yeah, in the US, that's a condition is nice. Yeah, mine are a little chewed up. We're talking about the LCD-4. That was shown off earlier today. You'd pay a lot to import them. Yeah, these days. Right? So not fun. Glad to have gotten here on time this week. He's got the OP's Night Train album on CD. Okay. Night Train, I think of the sax player, Blue Train, Coleman. I'm drawing a blank. Whatever. All right, fellas. On that note, yeah. So Hangover Hangout will be this weekend. I will post in the show notes on the community page. I put out some notes occasionally. I'll put who the speaker is going to be. If you guys are interested, $3 will get you in the door on Saturday. We do it 9:30 in the morning Pacific, and then we have a special guest, and you can ask your questions of the special guest. I'm not sure who it's going to be this week, but I'm going to find somebody in the next 2 days. That's going to be my mission. And I've got a new episode coming. It's going to be an eStat episode. I think you guys are going to really like that one. It's going to be a big one. One of my bigger ones in a while because I've been broke. So get that done. And the rest of you guys have a great rest of your week. I'm glad we could hang out together for this little time on a Wednesday, back in our normal slot, getting back into the swing of things. Talk some Audeze today. That's a good thing. And I'll see you guys before you know it, man. Cheers. Let's get off the air now somehow. So we gotta go.